Alrighty guys, so today I have finally found this fight that I had with John Wayne Parr. So this is more of like a storytelling thing than anything. This was my first fight I actually had with City Kickboxing and Eugene. So it was quite a memorable fight because I learned a ton leading up to this fight during the camp. So I actually had a fight just before this, and then Eugene he came to Thailand with Israel to do the last couple of weeks of prep for that fight in China, and so I did a bit of training with him, a bit of pad work to get ready for that fight. If I remember correctly, I got really cut before that fight, so I had to do a lot of pad work with him, couldn't do any sparring or anything else, and we took the stitches out just before the fight, had the fight and won, and it was a very successful fight, and I used a lot of the stuff that Eugene actually taught me. So I decided that I was going to go train with this guy, and he invited me to come back to New Zealand and train to fight John Wayne Parr because I just signed to fight against him. Wayne had messaged me asking to fight him, and I was actually looking for this fight for a very long time. It didn't really pop up on YouTube or anything like that, and a friend just sent it to me, and so I have it here. And so we're just going to talk about what led up to this fight. And this was definitely the first fight that I ever used faking, and I've never used faking before in my life. I was a big sort of like Terminator style fighter. I just walked forwards with my hands down and with my hands up. I just walked forwards with my hands up and looked for openings when somebody was hitting me. So I was a big counter fighter, big on like power and just wearing them down, just being nice and fit. As you guys can see in this fight, my hands are a lot lower than they were in previous fights, and I was faked quite a lot. And one of the main game plans for this fight was to fake kicks to get Wayne up onto one leg, and then because obviously once somebody is up on one leg, you can just tee off on them at will because it's very hard to move. So I would fake the kicks and then go in with my hands and do my bit. And at the start of the fight, as you guys saw, I managed to drop him with a 4-3, which was a repetitively drilled move that Eugene sent to me when I was still in Phuket before I'd actually just come home to start training with him. He was like, drill this move, this is going to work well. And yeah, sure enough, I did it straight away, and it worked straight away. And I managed to put him down, and from there on it was much easier to fight him because I think he was a little bit dazed. And as you guys can see here, I am attacking him again, and I think he's still dazed from that first drop, and I managed to get him down. And Eugene's telling me to stay calm in the corner there, but this was actually right at the end of the round, so Wayne managed to get to the next round. I think if I had a little bit longer, I probably would have stopped him in that round, but he's a very, very hard man to stop. He gets up every single time. He's got like the Grim Reaper above him, just picks him back up. He's got crazy willpower. And someone once said to me that the biggest weapon any fighter can ever have is undoubted self-belief. So if you truly believe that you are better and you're going to win, I mean, that stuff is going to take you a long way. Obviously skill, cardio, all that other stuff as well, experience, but an undoubted self-belief, man, that's some powerful shit. And obviously Israel has undoubted self-belief as well, and so do I. This is why I'm getting as far as I am, even though I'm very early in my MMA career. Another weapon that I used in this fight that was like hugely successful was the left hook, the counter left hook. Wayne, I don't know, his hand seemed to be down a little bit when he would like throw his punches, or in the middle of his combination his hands would be a little bit low, and he had those smaller gloves on, and that's where I used that left hook to capitalize on that. Was I would just interrupt his combination, throw the left hook and catch him, and the fakes really threw him off. I think because he had a huge career fighting in Thailand, and Thai fighters have a little bit of a different style of fake to what we use. They use more of like a pump fake with their lead leg. They sort of bounce in. Sometimes they fake their kicks, but yeah, this was definitely a unique way of faking, and it it got us very, very far for quite a while, and now people are starting to catch on and start to fake themselves a lot in their own careers, which is cool. I mean, any evolution and development in the sport, I'm all for. So, as you guys can see, Wayne went down again, and he got up again, which is crazy. I'm not going to lie, it definitely shocked me that he kept getting up, because some of the punches that I was hitting him with were horrendously hard and right on the chin, and he just kept getting up. And I was also battering that lead leg a lot, even though he was checking the kicks. Theoretically, right, he's lifting his leg up and stopping the kick. His shin wasn't really pointed out, it was more lifted straight up, so I was still kicking the side of the calf muscle. So that's why I continued to do it, because it wasn't really hurting me, and I knew that it was sort of hitting that perineal nerve, which can still hurt. And obviously when you lift your leg up, it's just floating there limp, so it's very hard to tense the muscle up and reduce the amount of pain from the impact. So when your leg just floats there, anyone that is fighting somebody that's checking kicks like that, lifting the leg straight up, just kick straight through it. You know, it might not be scoring, but it's definitely hurting, and it's going to add up eventually. And as you can see, he starts to lift his leg up quite a lot. And another thing that I actually capitalized on was every time I faked or stepped in, he'd throw this sort of flicky left kick, and so it wasn't too hard. It was obviously scoring points, but in my mind, I was so far ahead on the points board because of the 8 counts that I could afford to give away a few points like that. And so I'd disregard those kicks just to look for an opening or to find a way in, maybe to put him down again. I was still wary of him. He will not stop. That's the thing about Wayne, is he'll keep coming forward and keep fighting, even if he's like horrendously far down like he was in this fight. He'll keep battling. So I still had to be cautious because I knew he was not going to give up, and I thought eventually I was going to knock him out, maybe cold, but it just didn't come. He was a very, very determined man on that night, so credit to him. I was a lot younger, he was a lot older, and he approached me for that fight. Obviously, he definitely did not have to. He won the first fight. I took that fight on a couple of days' notice. By the way, I think that should have been an 8 count. I hit him clean, and I dropped him just there. So, yeah, that technically should have been an 8 count, but it wasn't. I think there was a couple in this fight that I believe should have been a couple more 8 counts, but they weren't. Hometown advantage, we'll say, but that's okay. He got up fast. He got up fast enough maybe to nullify the fact that it was a drop. And you guys can see is that little flick left kick again, which scores points. So I just start to fake and try to find an opening. Also, his low kick was similar. It was like more of a scoring low kick than anything, so I sort of disregarded it quite a lot. I was also full of adrenaline, full of focus. I was completely in the flow zone, and I wasn't too concerned about those kicks. Later on, a couple of them came high. As you can see there, I managed to lean back, but a couple did come pretty close to landing later on in the fight, but I think Wayne was a little bit tired, so they didn't quite have as much snap. And here we go, boom. That definitely, I think, should have been an 8 count. I got cut, and as everybody knows, in my recent UFC fights, when I get cut, I get super pissed off. There was me pissed off. I just walked forwards. Like I said, I threw that hook in the middle of his combinations. That's how I was countering it. It was a decent cut too, by the way. That thing, I think, was maybe 13 to 16 stitches, something like that. And the reason I was actually more pissed off than anything, that could have been argued that was another drop too. That one came behind the back of the head. But yeah, like I was saying, the reason I was super pissed off about that cut is because I said that Eugene came over to Phuket, and we had a fight in China. Just before that fight, 10 days before that fight I had, we were doing boxing sparring at Tiger, and somebody kneed me in the eye socket. I'm not sure why they did. It's just a foreign fighter coming over there to train. Maybe an accident, maybe it wasn't. I'm not sure, but it hit me here. It gave me 26 stitches. So I had a few down here and a few more up there. It hit me like that, the whole knee. So I had all those stitches there. And then a couple of weeks later when I fought Wayne, I got stitches exactly on the other side, identical. I didn't get any above, thank God. I got them below. So I had a lot of stitches in that month, and that's why I was super pissed off about that cut. And it was big, and it was deep, and it was those little MMA gloves that do that to you. But yeah, kudos to Wayne for getting me. So you guys can see that just there I used the low kick and he blocked it, and then I used that fake low kick and then I stepped over with my two, trying to get him up on one leg and step over and hit him with that right hand, because like I said earlier, it's very, very hard to back up or do anything after you're stuck up on one leg. And as a lifelong habit that Wayne had, he has that Thai style where he bounces his lead leg, very heavy on the back foot. He does not back up. Obviously, everybody that's watching this probably knows John Wayne Parr. He's not a big advocate of going backwards in a fight. He will always come forwards, and that is also part of his style. He's always heavy on the back foot, so it was hard for him to back up quickly. It was easier for me to explode forwards and catch him and get off more shots than he probably expected in this fight, that's for sure. But as you guys can see, I counter. So the best thing, one of the best things I've ever been told in my career is, well, I mean, you can be first and third, is what I've been told. If you're in a fight and someone's good at countering, be first, they counter, and then be third. So you're always starting, you're always finishing, so you're always up. In this case, most of the time I was first and third, sometimes first, second, and third. But I really got my head moving a lot more in these last two rounds because I had that huge gash over my eye. I was worried maybe they could come in and stop it because of the size of the cut. I thought maybe they could jump on that opportunity because of the way the fight was going for me. I was winning quite comfortably. I was very, very far ahead on points, so I was a bit worried that they might stop it. But luckily in Muay Thai, they're very, very lenient on size of cuts and 8 counts and stuff like that. So the fight genuinely will continue to go no matter what happens. Looks like I loaded up a left hook from hell then, but didn't get a throw. That's maybe why I was smiling at Wayne. But we made it to the 5th round. Wayne made it to the 5th round, which is extremely impressive. He had a lot of time on the canvas during this fight, and the fact that he kept getting up is crazy. The first fight, I put him down a couple of times, which was very, very surprising for everybody. I think that was very, very surprising, even for myself. We took the fight on 48 hours notice. I'm not going to lie, I was super nervous. I've never been that nervous for a fight in my life. I knew who he was, and I jumped at the opportunity, but when I got there, I was actually by myself. I got flown over, and a couple of my boys came over from New Zealand to support me out of their own pocket. So thank you, Richie, and thank you, Joe, for doing that, because otherwise I'd be in that fight. I would have had a corner, but it wouldn't have felt as comfortable because it would have been someone that I was not familiar with. So they came over and cornered me. I managed to drop Wayne twice. He managed to get me on points. I was a little bit gun shy and a little bit nervous about that one. I still think I could have definitely won that first fight as well. But Wayne gave me the opportunity to rematch him with a full camp. So I thank him for that. It definitely was a milestone in my career, fighting and beating John Wayne Parr. Getting to jump in there with somebody that's so experienced and is very famous. It definitely lifted my platform a lot. So thank you for that, Wayne. And I'm very happy that I got sent this fight. So thank you to Flicky for sending this fight to me. But as you guys can see, the game plan was very similar for the entire fight. I didn't have to adjust too much. I stuck to the same things, just faking the kicks, coming in with my hands. Volume was really the key in this fight, interrupting Wayne's rhythm. So if you let him get going, that's when he gets dangerous. He starts to rack up points, charge forwards with his 1-2, 1-2, 1-2. And me interrupting with fakes, shifting the left hook, which had a huge amount of success in that fight, and faking the kick to get him on one leg and get him static. That was the main things that we could take away from this fight. So I'm just going to let the rest of this fight play out, guys. Thank you for watching my channel again. I've been a little bit slow on content, but I'll get some more out lately. At the moment we're locked down, so it's very, very hard to do that. I'm also training for my fight that's coming up with Rafael. So hopefully we get a lockdown. I can release a little bit more content, get some training stuff out, get some more techniques out, because most of the training right now is being done in my lounge. And yeah, but all is going well, and that fight is going to be epic. I can't wait to fight and jump back on the world stage. It's going to be awesome. So I'll see you guys soon. Have an awesome day. Quake Combat out.